So I've had a few people ask about the power supply that I use. This is a Wanptek DC power supply DPS 3010U. It will go up to 10 amps and up to 30 volts or so. So that's about 300 watts. I've never been able to get it that high, but we can look at some readings for specifically on the amperage side. So I'm just going to set my voltage to say 10 volts. And what I will do is, so you have a coarse voltage up here, fine voltage, and you can click them in and it'll change if you're on the ones or the tens place. Same thing with the fine, same thing with the amperature, which are the two bottom knobs here. Honestly, it's been a pretty good little bench power supply that I use to do a lot of testing for some electronics that I make here. But as you can see, it's saying about 1 amp. We're showing about 1 amp on the Fluke. For amperature, in order to read it, you have to have it in line. So I just have it in line with a fuse in between, a 10 amp fuse, just in case something crazy was to happen, it would blow that fuse. 10 amps is a lot of current and is extremely dangerous. 1 amp is very dangerous as well. So you would definitely want to make sure you take care if you're making any kind of changes. So I'm going to go ahead and move it up to, let's say, 1 amp. At 1 amp, we're showing roughly 1 amp on the meter. So, you know, pretty close there. We'll go up to 2. So at 2, we're showing 1996, pretty close. 3, 3994. Excuse me, 29994. 4 amps, we're at almost 4 amps. We'll take it up to 5. At 5 amps, again, this is your amperage here in the middle. So you'll have this CC that you can see there. So the CC is constant current. If the voltage that you can make some changes in here, and if you need to, you can make some changes that allow you to be constant voltage or constant current. So if you're charging a battery as an example, I would put a lithium battery, like a laptop battery, at between 4 volts and 4.2 volts, and I would set a current of, in my example, and it's different for different ones, but I would set a current of, let's say, 2 amps. And what would happen is, because it would be constant current, it would try to push the current to, let's say, a full 2 amps, and the voltage could be a little higher than 4, a little higher than 4.2. Once the amperage needed in order to charge the battery as an example, this would switch over to constant voltage, which I'll show you here in another clip. But so it's a pretty good one. They also have watts here. So watts is essentially voltage times amperage. So we'll go ahead and do a couple more amps here. We're at 6, and roughly 6, 7. We'll go up to 9. As you can see here, it's pretty good overall. Very much like it. Now, I wouldn't say that this would be something that I would use to power. You can hear the fan come on. At 9 amps, it's a lot of heat. As you can see, 15 watts. This is not something that I would be doing a lot of digital circuitry, because if you hook it up to an oscilloscope, I would definitely say that I had an oscilloscope, it's gone now, before I decided to take any video. It was definitely dirty, so you might get some false triggers or some false information coming out of a digital. I'm going to go ahead and turn this down so it'll cool. But as you can see, 3.9, it'll read 3.9, 3.6. Overall, it's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and turn it all the way down. So now we're on no amps. The next thing I'll do is do a little bit of voltage. So in order to do voltage, you're going to have to change your fluke lead from amperature, which is the one over here, 10A, as well as the spin dial. So I'm going to go ahead and unplug this, plug it into the plug it into the voltage, which is the other side next to the common. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to unplug it, because you should not make changes to what it's trying to read while it's plugged up to anything. But I'm going to put it on DC voltage. So we're in DC voltage here. And we'll go ahead and put it on. We're going to set voltage pretty low, say 1 volt. We'll have 1 amp or 0.1 amp. We've already shown the amperage. So what this will do is, you can see that we're about 1, so it's pretty close overall. Let's just go to, 6 volts, 10 volts. And as I was saying earlier here, now it has it in that constant voltage mode. So because the circuit that I have right now, which is essentially a closed, any circuit's a closed loop, it's truly a circuit. But in this case, and because I have no real load on there, there is no amperage needed to go across that load or go through that load. It's very low because the resistance essentially through the circuitry here is essentially, 0.5 or something like that ohms, really, really low. So one of the things that you can do, just as we'll go to 16, you're at 16, 23, 23, 31, right? That's as high as this one will go. It goes up to 31, so very good overall. It reads it, it's what it should be. Okay, next up we're gonna try to use this DC power supply with a couple USB cables that I have. One of them is a USB-C, and the other one is the USB-A. And what we're going to do is charge my Pixel 7. As you can see here, we're looking at about 14% or so. So we're going to go ahead and plug it up and see what it does. So I'm going to turn on, I've already plugged up the power supply. I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to make sure we're set at 0 volts, 0 amps. Just as a precaution. So what we're going to do is first with the USB-A, so put it in there. Then we're going to plug it up to the phone. We're going to see if it does fast charge, which honestly, if you're talking about charging like a USB phone or something like that, as you can see, we're still at 14%. So haven't done any video magic just yet. All right. So it is plugged in. Typically, what I would see is something like fast charge, which I'm not seeing. So we'll let it charge here for a couple minutes. And I'll jump in and out, but it is charging. You got 14%, that little battery sign next to it. So it is charging. We'll give it a couple minutes and then come back. So there's definitely something strange about this. Every time I plug it up into the USB-C, I'm gonna see if I have another cord. Like I said, the battery is blinking. And I can hear like the voltage like cut off and on, which is actually what it's kind of showing down here in in the bottom side, it'll show that it's charging and then stop and then show that it's charging. So I'm going to go ahead and unplug this and see if I can find another USB USB-C to USB-C cable, see if it's just a cable. As you can see here, it's been plugged up for a little over a minute. It is still charging, but it is not charging fast. Matter of fact, I would say it's charging pretty slow. I never could get the USB-C or A to actually charge it consistently or fast at all. It was extremely slow. I went ahead and just edited the video out because it was the same error throughout. Personally, I will not be using this as a USB charger for my phone. Do make sure if you buy any of these units that you verify the power setting. So you'll see here it's set at 115 volts. The other one is 240. This unit came set at 240. The reason that's very important is you could blow the power supply inside here, the transformer that they use in order to make this work. I would definitely tell you to verify this on any power supply that you buy, like a computer power supply, if you're building a computer, or any of these DC power supplies, any kind of power supply at all. There's a good chance that this is set. It could be set wrong, let me say it that way. Or it down. So what I like to do is I like to turn my voltage and my amperage down to 0, and my set point on my voltage is 0. What this does is, let's say I hook up something wrong, or I mistakenly leave one of these voltages higher than it should be, and then I hook something up. This potentially could save your circuit, whatever you're building. So I would definitely say to turn this down to no voltage and no amperage in between usages. Then when you're done there, you just hit the little power button. There is this C.C/OCP switch, and what that does is, next up you have this short circuit alarm. So you have two different settings here. You have the CC position and you have the OCP. The CC it functions this way. When the output is in a short or over current situation, it will limit the output to the maximum current according to the set that you put for amperage. The OCP, what it'll do is it will shut it when there's a short circuit situation. What it'll do is it'll stop the output until the fault is cleared. I personally use CC because then it will always run. It could always run once you fix that. I will say that it is a little safer to run than OCP, but that means you have to clear the fault before. So another thing I would talk about this particular unit is you basically only have a power on and off. I may look to modify this to where when I plug it in to an outlet, it automatically turns on, and then I switch this button to an output button. I would definitely prefer that, and here's why I say I prefer that, or here's why I like that. So right now, as soon as I change that to 5 volts, in theory, if I was to touch these two connections together, I'm going to have 5 volts in whatever amperage I set it at going through that. As soon as you turn it on, if you leave it on 5 volts up here and 5 amps there, and as soon as you turn it on, it's going to spike that to 5 amps or whatever you set it at previously. So what I would rather have is an output button. Technically, I'd like to have an on and off for power to the machinery, and then I would like to have a output button. My older DC power supply had both the power on and off. That particular unit is very old, and I got rid of it. It was part of my bench test set that I had for some prior engineering work that I did. But like I said, I really like this with a couple exceptions there.